Because what the fuck, right? Hi. Let's do this. I'm Bree. I'm an astrologer. I do this. I read these things. It's what I do. Here, let me take you down here. Hi. We need smudging. It's mugwort. I don't use sage. Okay, a couple of things. We have an eclipse, like right around the corner. Yeah? You're on it. Yeah. Okay. Inside that eclipse, there is a beautiful Venus alignment with North Node. This is important because it's going to sweeten the change. Sugar, I want you to think of sugar when you think of Venus, okay? Venus sweetens things. It makes things more appealing. It makes it easier to come through, not digest, come through, okay? It's toxic. Venus is one of the most detrimental planets for any kind of human life to exist on. It is super toxic. And yeah, it's all related to beauty, but beauty is a spell. Beauty is actually something you see from inside, right? The aesthetics of beauty, though, the design, the symmetry, these things, these like divine alignments that create aesthetically beautiful things, that is also in the purpose of Venus, as is all kinds of unfurling and opening up, all right? Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. But Venus with the North Node will make a lot of these changes more, how do I say this? The rot will happen once the digestion has gone down. It will sweeten the shot, but the burn will still happen when it hits your tummy, okay? Very much a vodka shot with sugar on the rim. There is a 28-degree new moon in Aquarius. This is like right at the edge. If you were born at the end of Aquarius season, okay, so that's going to be February 17th, 18th, 19th, or the beginning of Pisces season, February 20th, 21st, 22nd. This is a really important eclipse because it's impacting your whole year. And truly, anyone born with Aquarius or Pisces is having a huge year. Same with Capricorn's huge year, but this one in particular, it's coming to rock the boat in the sense that who you've been and who you are going to be and the time in between, it's all getting confuddled. It's all getting murked and mixed together. And on the other side of this is a new identity. On the other side of this year entirely is a new identity. But it is about stepping into your dreams and stepping into your purpose and stepping into the things you've been saying to yourself that you truly believe in all this time. Before we get to the eclipse, because we got 2 weeks, okay? Today's the 4th. Tomorrow's the 5th. Today and last night, really, Uranus went direct. Venus and Chiron are making this beautiful aspect from each other. So there's this like ability to recognize our pain and honor our pain and honor everything else in it. There's also a moon in Virgo right now, helping us let go of like patterns and past behaviors that we've had that we didn't even recognize we were running on. A lot of that has to do with health, okay? I have quite a few clients who have overcome smoking or overcome drinking or whatever, and these events of the last couple of weeks have really had them struggling with their sobriety, with their promises to themselves, with their habits. It's important to try to incorporate new healthy habits when you're feeling a craving to move towards something. It's an opportunity to put a new healthy habit in there. A lot of people say like, oh, you got to heal the problem that you have the void from. You have a space, fill it up with something positive, okay? So for me, instead of smoking cigarettes, I'll smudge. I have clients who replaced drinking alcohol with drinking water, copious amounts of water through their day, and then getting super hydrated, right? Not that any moderation's important, obviously, but this is a chance for us to get away from habits that aren't good for us and move into habits that are. On the 6th, Mercury is going to move into Pisces, where it will eventually retrograde in that sign, not at that degree, but in that sign. And it's really important to know we have a moon in Libra, sun in Aquarius on the 16th. Things are going to click into place. Okay, there's going to be a lot of, okay, I know what to do now. Okay, my intuition is talking to my mind, and there's an alignment there. There is going to be a square from the moon to Jupiter If you have Cancer placements, the 6th for you is going to ask you to lean into a learning curve. Same with Libra, Aries, and Capricorn as well. But particularly Cancer, this is something about adjusting to what actually is balanced rather than what just looks good. Okay, it's about equilibrium. It's about finding the balance that actually makes sense rather than the thing that just looks good on paper. Another thing that I'm seeing here is on the 8th, we'll have a square from Venus to Uranus where it is now, okay? This is, I feel like the square, because we've seen Uranus on Medusa's star come out with all of this confirmation and conversation about what is sexual abuse, what are victims, what happens to women, how women and children are always, we're starting to understand the gravity, right? That a lot of people, especially people of color and women especially of color, have been trying to tell us for a long time, that the oppression is here and it's always been here. The Uranus on Medusa's star this week has been specifically calling that up, and you've been hearing the words feminine rage over and over and over again, and it's valid, super, super valid, and on time. When Venus makes a square to Uranus from Aquarius, there is a, what about the boys? What about the impact on, like, the overlooked impact on the boys? And I'm not talking about the perpetrators. I'm talking about, like, the boys that have been victims but have to walk around with the face of a man when all of this kind of backlash on masculine energy is coming. There's this, okay, we have to make space. And that is going to happen under a Scorpio moon, which will square a lot of placements. There's going to be a lot of conversation about the pain of the collective. Now, I do need to state as well, some of those files said that day, specifically the 8th of February, would be World War III, which is interesting because I think the world is already at war, personally. I've been saying this since the summertime when Israel bombed Iran the first time. It feels like it's been that way since Palestine began and Ukraine began with Russia, but if it didn't become officially a thing until then I believe in the summertime it did. But we'll see it in the history books in a couple of years. Now the 10th, once we pass over the hump of the 8th, the 10th is really an important day. I feel like some big shit is happening at that time. Specifically things that have to do with leaders, children, rulerships, governance, and really the acceptance of the fall, acceptance of things falling away and falling apart. I think that's a very significant theme that we're going to see a lot. And on the 10th of February is the first time we're going to hear about what that looks like. I personally think we probably won't hear about it yet, but at this time, somewhere in the world, probably in America, there is this group growing of a different kind of political force, a different kind of future that is just starting to brew, and we'll hear about the origins of this later once they've made their history, but I can feel it, and it very much is reflective in the astrology. This is the same kind of astrology that we saw the first unions get built under, okay? Very unified, power of the people kind of stuff. Same with internal militias and actually. Let's keep it as positive as we can. The 12th of February, also a pretty important day. I think this one's going to be painful, though. I do see it is a pre-retrograde, Mercury retrograde conjunct the North Node. We are having some kind of loss and some kind of conversation about loss, particularly when it comes to information, people, and children. I don't want to say that it's going to be specifically a child, but it feels like a teenager. It feels like there's some sort of teenage figure that's going to become monumental around the 12th of February. Another person that's going to become a historical name. On the 14th, Saturn will move into Aries. The sun will be at 25 degrees of a Saturn-ruled sign. The moon will also be in a Saturn-ruled sign, making an opposition to Jupiter. This is crunch time. There is some sort of restriction being imposed between the 13th and then just onwards. It's not great. The 15th as well, I feel like there's even more of a kickback and a fight and a raging from universal communications. Like, people are fighting back. It's an excellent time for a guillotine, I'm just saying.